Hi, Chontelle. It's so absolutely fabulous to see you on the other side of the screen. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Chamonix. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's lovely to see you. And can you please introduce yourself to our viewers a little bit of how long you've been on council for and which council, if you wanted to share that with us?
Sure. So I've been on the Cockburn City Council now for 3 years. It's still my first term. We've got elections next year and I'm looking forward to hopefully continuing in the role. I was elected in 2017 and have been absolutely loving every single minute.
So 2017, so your first timer, and you ran, was that your first election that you ran in, or have you done elections before this one?
No, that was my first election. I've been very proactive in different community groups. So I'm a mum, I've got 4 kids. I've also got 2 stepkids. So I've been active in the school environment for a very long time. I've been a member of the P&C, I've been chair of different boards, and I got more into community once my kids started moving through high school, because when they're in high school, they're kind of like, it's not cool for you to be in the P&C anymore, mum. So so I kind of moved as they moved and went into the community a lot more. I restarted the Yangebuck Progress Association, the resident group, and became the voice for that, and noticed all these things that needed changing from a council perspective to make it easier for residents to connect with council. So in 2017, I thought, oh, well, I'll put my hand up and see what happens. And I was elected, straight away. So, which was
Awesome.
Fantastic. So that's where I've been since. And on reflection, I have been making those changes and, benefiting the other resident groups in the area too, which has been wonderful.
Well, going through that avenue into council is it's a very good way, because it gives you that opportunity to really understand the people that you live amongst and the typical issues that your community might have and that you can take to council with. So Sean, in terms of your election then, how long did you campaign before you actually ran in the election?
So I actually started really early. It was kind of a sort of decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I just went, right, let's do it and let's just go. Now, some people like to hold back and announce their candidacy really late. For me, it was like, as soon as I sort of made my mind up, I'm like, yeah, this is something I'm going to do. And I just went for it. I think I started campaigning earlier than most, and really it was about raising awareness. The more time you have to raise awareness about, hey, I'm Sean, I'm running for council, get on board, the more time people actually have to get to know you, to get to understand what you're running about, and have more time to sort of make that decision. Whereas if you leave it really late, I find that people just go, oh, who are you? Where have you been? But it was great because I'd been in the community as well. Everyone kind of knew me. I'd been on WAXO State Council, so I dealt with all the P&Cs in the area. So I had a really good grassroots grounding, and that I haven't forgotten, but I also haven't moved away from either. So I still like to go to the resident group meetings. I still like to go along and find out what's happening and make sure that I'm still actively listening to take that to council.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how long, so you say a long time, what would that be? A month, a year? How long was your campaign period for, more or less, do you think?
Oh, look, it would have been, when I first started thinking about the idea, it's probably a year out. And I got serious sort of January of the 2017 election. So sort of January, I kind of went, right, let's do this. And got all my marketing campaign and strategy sorted. I worked out my finances, went along and worked out what my platforms were going to be, and then just went for it.
Awesome. And you were elected as one of 2 in your ward, is that right? Yes. For that election?
Yeah.
Because
so we had 2 spots.
It works differently for different elections and different councils.
Yeah, definitely. And I was very lucky that there was 2 spots available. So I was actually running together with another candidate who was already strong and prominent in the area. And we worked together. So we were really helping each other and promoting each other. I was exposing him to areas that he probably wasn't really across, but then he was also doing that for me as well. So it was lovely. It was wonderful to be able to work together so well and, promote each other.
And when you got in, once you were elected, how did you find settling into council? Because how many new councillors were there during your 2017
There was two.
election?
There was myself and Michael. And settling in, it was very overwhelming to start with. Just the volume of information that you receive and you've got to digest and then work out how to best represent your community. So I just, bullet a gate. I just went for it. And I went straight to the ALGWA training and I went, look, I'm going to need help here. I need to understand the basis and the platform. So I went straight into the ALGWA training. That was before it was made mandatory. I did every single one of the training modules, and I am still completing my diploma in local government. I've got one more unit to go.
Oh, yay, exciting. Well done.
It's been a long process trying to fit it in between council meetings and all the rest of it. But in some of the units, I kind of held back until we were at that stage with council. So that's really, really helped my understanding of the process, not only doing it from an assessment point of view, but actually having that real life experience. And one of those examples is when we did our community strategic plan. At that very same time, I was also doing these community strategic plan assessment at ALGWA. So everything correlated. And that's why I gave a little bit more input into the community strategic plan. And I kind of changed it a lot more than everyone expected because I'd already done that part of the assessment. And I kind of went, this is what I came up with in the assessment. I wonder if we could actually implement that in real life. And sure enough, we did. We actually pulled out local economy and made that a target focus in this community strategic plan. So,
and talking about the community strategic plan, I know you said that you've been involved in the local community for a while and then sort of decided to run from there on. But was there anything else that specifically drove you to want to be on council? Was there a one issue that you wanted to go and change, or what was the motivation behind being on council?
See, for me, it wasn't a one issue topic. I saw value in what I was being able to do at a resident group and wanted to be able to share that knowledge and information across a larger area. So for me, I know some people do go run on single issues, but the problem is once that issue's dissipated and resolved, then you still need to have a focus point to be able to continue being effective on council. So for me, there's a lot of different things. Crime and safety, obviously, one of my biggest passions, Chair of Neighbourhood Watch. We had a lot of problems in the community about crime and safety issues, so I really wanted to help in that regards. And there was other issues, environment, obviously, wanting to make sure that we're protecting our environment and also protecting our urban canopy. So seeing a lot of redevelopments happening and a lot of the trees just going, and I wanted to try and preserve those in any way we can. And again, that's more state level through the WAPC, but there's little things that we can do here in local government. And I thought, well, let's try.
Yeah, wonderful. And you're a mum of 4 + 2, basically, you said.
Yes. Yeah.
My goodness, how do you juggle doing all of that and being a councillor? And if you don't mind, do you do something outside of council? Do you have a job? Do you work?
Yes. Yeah, I work as well. How do I do it? I'm passionate. And I think my kids have grown up with me as I've been moving on all these different journeys through life. So years ago when I was on WACSO, the WA State Schools Council Association, I was a fresh mum. I just had Mason and Amelia, and so they came along with me to all the different meetings, little babies, and as you would know, Shab. And I've just brought them with me on the journey. So if there's council things that I have to attend and the kids can come, they come. I want to be more inclusive. I want to show that you can be a mum. It's not an inhibitor having kids and doing what you want to do, especially when you're passionate about it. Right. So, I mean, I've got one kid that's 17 now, about to be 18. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Time flies.
It does fly. And everyone tells you that. But I guess it's about juggling priorities. So whilst I still do a lot of things for them and also, be mum, I also have been able to teach them a bit more independence and just life skills, but also take them with me. So like at the moment, they're all in the house. They all know I'm here. They know I'm doing this video, and they're just off doing their thing. And they'll we'll all get together afterwards, and we'll go play out at the well, maybe not the playground today. It's a bit yucky, but we'll do something together afterwards, and that's what we do. We just balance all the different priorities.
Yeah, and it's great that they see mum doing this for the community, because essentially that's what I don't know about you, but I'm not aware of any councillors doing it for the money. The money I've worked out once, we get paid less than it would be for me to go and flip burgers at McDonald's. I would get more money working at McDonald's than being a councillor. So in terms of,
definitely don't do it for the money. It's for the love. It's for the love of the job and the love of the community. I mean, and if it's not, then I really don't know what people are doing on council, because there's so much. The other
advantage that I found as well for myself was with my children seeing firsthand how mum gives back to the community.
Yes.
And it's that spirit that money can't buy, essentially. For them to see that example, I guess, of what it is to be part of a community, to really give back and do your thing and be a community member, because in the community we all need to play our parts. And I'm hopeful that my children will be able to grow up and I guess give back too as well, and be good citizens of the world one day.
Yes. Well, it's leading by example. It's showing them the way, the right way. And it's not just talking about it, it's actually putting those words into actions and showing them how that they could be corporate citizens, and also be able to make an impact and change in the world. So if they don't like something, instead of whinging about it online, this is how you go about actually making a change and actually getting things happening. So
that's true.
That's probably the biggest.
No, you go.
Sorry. It's probably the biggest lesson for them is, how we are able to work through our problems and resolve them, rather than and actually participate in that problem solving.
That's right. Don't just sit on the sideline and complain, but actually, that's right. Be part of the solution.
Yeah. Don't whinge to me about your broken footpath. Send me an email. It's going to
So talking about which, what's been the best thing for you about being on council?
The best thing? Oh, I love the wins. I love the little wins that we all have. And I think, again, this community strategic plan, that just sort of blew me away. There's been a lot of times where I've been able to stand up for the community, and the community have been very strong in their opinion and said, no, we don't want this, or yes, we do want this. And I've been able to represent their views and put them forward for the item or the topic. And when the rest of council agrees with you, that is when you just go, yes, this is why I'm here. So there's been a few instances of those where it's just been absolutely really heartwarming to this is why I'm on council. I've made sure that these people, their views are heard, and we've taken that on board, and we've made a decision that really encompasses that.
That's a very warm and fuzzy feeling that it gives you. All the hard work that you put in, these hours and hours, and you're like, yes.
and that makes it worth it.
It does. But let's throw in the flip side of the coin. What's the worst thing for you about being a councillor?
Oh, it is a lot of time. It is a really lot of time. And, you do know that going in. You know that it's going to take up a really big chunk of your time. For me, it's you've got a week to read an exceptionally large agenda and be all the way through it. And try and get up to speed and knowing all the background of every issue that you are deliberating on, because it's really important. These decisions that we actually make, they impact people's lives, everyone's day to day. So it's really important that we take the time to really digest what's in those agendas and make sure that we are making the right decision for the community. So it's, that time management. Although I don't like to sleep, so that's fine for me. I just sit up at night.
Lucky you.
Insomnias are us. Yeah.
Can you give us an idea of what a council agenda looks like in terms of volume?
I wish I knew that question was coming. I'd go and grab one. Look, they're huge. They really are huge. They can vary from size, but I think the smaller ones are sitting somewhere around the 400 pages, and the larger ones we've had up to 1,200 pages. I like to get mine printed, which is probably bad for the environment. I'm hoping it's on recycled paper. But the reason I like mine printed is I can sit there and actually go through each and every item. I can make notes, I can highlight, I can then refer back to it when the community's got concerns and they ask the questions, and I go, hang on, flip, flip, flip. Okay, this is what it was. This is my decision. This is why I made that decision. I can rationalize why those events led to that. And I've had to do that a couple of times, but it's been great to have those reference notes to go back to.
And if there's any woman watching this today thinking, oh, maybe I should run for council, shouldn't I?
Do it.
What would you say?
Do it. Ring me. Right, I'll help you.
Why do they have to run for council? Why do you think they should consider doing it?
I think if you're passionate about the community, you absolutely should run for council. It is a very amazing avenue to give back, to be involved, to help. And I think if you're thinking about it, don't just think about it. Let's do this. So I'm a part of the local government, the Local Government Women's Association WA branch. We actually have a presentation that we put together that shows you everything you need to know about how to run a campaign and what considerations you need to make if you're thinking about stepping up. It's called Stepping Up, by the way, about how you can run a campaign. It's not as scary as it sounds. It's, you just need to know how to do it and what the steps are, and really, like, let's do it. And I'm happy to, like I said, help any woman that wants to be elected to local government, to help them find their feet, find their way, give them some tips, and let's do this. Let's get the 50-50 representation.
Absolutely. So it's great that those resources are available. I wish I had an access to those kinds of resources before I ran back in the day.
This is the reason that we've started developing those resources, because Shannon, I was saying, you were the same. There's so many women that have been elected to local government wished for the same thing. They wish they had the resources. They wish they had the toolbox. Well, we've got the resources and we're putting together the toolbox. So at the next elections in next October, anyone that wants to step up, we are going to have them ready for these women to help support them and help get their campaign and get them up on council.
That's great. And that's why the local government, the Australian Local Government Women's Association WA branch is really trying to get that toolbox together, as you said, so that all women, any person, can have access to it. Become a member.
Exactly. Become a member.
How much does it cost, Chontelle, the membership to us?
So our membership is $50 per financial year, so it's really quite cheap, considering everything that you're going to be able to access and get. It's been a really exciting time for the Wawas, and we are looking at getting this toolbox together, like I said, for the October elections. But we've also nearly finalised our mentorship program. It's MentorNet, so that's coming soon.
Right, well done. Yes, very much so. And let's just say the October elections, that's next year October. It's
next year October, not this October. Oh my gosh, 2020, no. let's not 2020 put anything else on 2020.
Strange year.
We'll just let that sort of roll.
I think it was Queensland or one of those who had their elections this year, and it was Victoria. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Victoria. Oh my gosh, I just feel so sorry for them. I mean, wow.
Let's hope COVID is well gone by the time that it's time for election. But then again, I think life will have returned to some new normality anyway by that stage. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Do your thing, people. Safe social distancing.
Yes, and wash your hands.
And wash your hands. And thank you so much, Chontelle, for sharing your story with us. It's been an absolute pleasure to hear about how you've done it and the things that's passionate to you and why you've run. We really appreciate your time. Any last thoughts that you want to leave our viewers with?
I think the best thing is, if you're thinking about running, don't just think about it, just do it. Look, the initial outlay is $80. If you don't have your name in the ring, you can't be considered. So at least put your name in the ring. Right. And each moment is a learning experience. So even if you're not elected, you will then have that knowledge and be able to learn from that election to do better in the next one. Or even if you do get elected, then, oh my gosh, be ready to learn, because it is amazing. The learning journey is just fantastic. The professional development you go through is just, you couldn't ask for a better experience to ground yourself. It's been absolutely a pleasure. I love it.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Sean. Have a lovely day. And
Yes.
hopefully we'll be able to catch up later on and see how things have changed for you, perhaps as a councillor, women's councillor, see how things have maybe stayed the same. And yeah, let's get more people into, more women into local
Women.
government.
Absolutely.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Sham.
Thanks, Sean.
Bye.